Good morning. I'm Navit, PM in Dev Center team, and today with Hannah and Vikram, we will talk about some of the new capabilities we have built to help you be more successful in Dev Center and Microsoft Store. So how many of you have already built an application and shipped it in Store? Can you please raise your hand? Awesome, pretty much everyone. That's great. So you know how Dev Center and Store works today. We want to thank you for your investment in Microsoft Store and Windows ecosystem. Last year was very exciting for us as we collaborated with some of the big partners like Spotify, Apple, and some of the big gaming studios like Turn 10 and Rare to bring their apps and games in Microsoft Store. We also saw a continuous improvement in the number of engaged users and number of paid transactions happening in the store. With nearly 700 million devices now running Windows 10, it's absolutely an exciting time to be part of Microsoft Store. And to make the deal even better, we have announced a new rev share model. As a developer, we want you to keep more of your hard-earned money. So now with the new model, you will be able to keep up to 95% of the revenue generated for your apps in the store. And if Microsoft is helping you get a new customer using our marketing channels, you will be able to keep up to 85% of the revenue for the apps in the store. This is the best revenue share model in any of the store ecosystem that exists today. As Microsoft, we are committed for building a world-class infrastructure, a platform to help you distribute your apps and games. So you as a developer can focus on building the right experiences to delight your customers. When we think about the investments we are making, we categorize them into 3 different buckets. As a developer, we want you to target new users, reach new customers. We want to add new capabilities to help you be more productive in Dev Center. And we are continuously improving and adding new monetization methods for apps and games to help you grow your business. And in today's talk, we will talk about new capabilities we are adding in each of these categories and also share stories with some of our partners who have used these features to be successful in store. So let's focus on the new features that we have added to help you reach and target new customers. How many of you have gone through the experience of buying a content like app or a game from Microsoft Web Store? Can you raise your hand? Cool. To help you reach new customers, we are now enabling buying directly from the Microsoft Web Store. So you can search for your favorite app or a favorite game on a device with a browser and go to the Microsoft Web Store, purchase the content that you're looking for, and then use push to install to trigger the installation of your app or a game on a registered Windows device. All of this is possible, the purchase and the installation, triggering of the remote installation from any device with a browser, even on non-Windows devices. So this will absolutely help you as a developer target new users and reach out to new customers. Another way for you to target new users is by improving the ratings of your apps in store. As a customer, when we go and buy some content, an app, a game, a movie, or anything, we always check the ratings and review to ensure that the content we are buying is of high standards, high quality. And we have done a lot of improvements in the ratings and review system to help you developers increase the number of ratings and improve them in store. So now with in-app review, you can use the store APIs directly to to allow users to rate your applications and rate the experiences in your application while within the context of your app. As an example, if it's a Skype app, once the video call is completed, the Skype app can prompt the user to rate the experience while in the context of the Skype app itself. Similarly, if it's a Netflix app, once the movie streaming has completed, it can prompt the user to go and rate how the experience was. Some of our partners like Forza Motors is using this in store today. We did a case study where with Forza, just by using in-app review, they were able to increase the number of ratings per day by 10 times, 10x improvements in the number of ratings per day. Also, their average in-app rating moved to 4.71 out of 5 after using in-app reviews. And it's very, very simple to go and use in-app reviews in your applications in game. Let me show you how. Oops, okay, let's try this one. Okay, right here, I have a simple project in Visual Studio, which is ratings and review demo. And what I have done is already associated this with the app in the store. So you can always, the first step is to make sure your project is associated with an app in the store. And you can use associated app with the store command in Visual Studio to do that. And then all you have to do is just write this simple function. What this function is doing, it's basically sending a request to the store, and it's sending the app context object, which includes all the information about what your app is in the store, and the integer 16. This integer 16 tells store to prompt the in-app review. What you get is a result. You can check for it. If it's null, it means the review was successfully registered with the store, and you can return it. And I have just invoked it in the click of a button, but you can do this for any scenario. Completion of an experience, completion of a voice call, for any scenario that you have in the app. It's that simple to go and use in-app review and plug this in for any of the experience in your application. As you heard Kevin in keynote yesterday, that we as Microsoft are committed for modernization of enterprise. If you are a Win32 app developer or an ISV and have enterprise as a target audience, you can now convert your existing Win32 applications to MSIX using the new MSIX packaging tool, and then leverage Store for Business and Microsoft Intune to distribute your apps and games in enterprises. Another way for you to reach out to new customers and target new users. Last year at Build, we announced Windows 10 running on ARM64 devices. With ARM64 devices, we are trying to increase the addressable user market for you. Earlier this year, with partnership of HP, Asus, and Lenovo, we have already started to ship devices running on Windows 10 ARM64. So a user can go to store today and buy an HP Envy X2 running Windows on ARM64. As a developer, to target these users, you can recompile your existing x64 and x86 apps using Visual Studio 15.8 Preview 1 and have the best performance for your applications while running as ARM64 on these devices. If you are a web developer, you might be familiar with the concept of progressive web apps, PWAs. These are just websites which work cross-platform and allows you to have native app-like experiences when running on Windows. And with native app-like experiences, you can use features like push notifications and offline cache data. Microsoft Store was the first to support onboarding of PWA apps in Store. In fact, we are also the first to auto-index these and also self-publish these PWAs without requiring any changes from the developer. If you have an existing website today, you can use the PWA Builder tool to convert it into a PWA app and ship it via Dev Center to Microsoft Store for all Windows 10 users. If Microsoft has already published a PWA for your app, for your website, then you can also engage with us and take the ownership of your PWA. Twitter has recently shipped their PWA app for all the Windows 10 users in store. I recommend you to go and explore and see how they have enhanced their experience with the PWA application. So far, we have talked about the capabilities we are adding to help you reach new customers and target new users. Now let's switch gear and talk about some of the capabilities we are adding to help you be more productive. As a developer, if I am working on a confidential app, it is critical for me to make sure that my app works with real services and real users in the production environment without worrying about leaking any information to the external world. Last year at Build, we announced that Store is working on a feature called Private Audience, where you as a developer can focus on building your application, whereas we on the Store work hard to keep your app confidential and secured. iTunes was released recently on April 26 to everyone. We have been working with iTunes and Apple team for more than 1 year on this project. And iTunes was being validated in the store for more than 5 months using Private Audience. They were able to test all the scenarios, all their user experiences without leaking any information. And we released iTunes in the store with 0 leaks and 0 unauthorized installs from the store. I'm happy to announce that Private Audience is now enabled for all developers on Windows 10. So if you have an existing app or you're working on a new app, consider using Private Audience for your launch. And it's very simple to configure this in Dev Center. Let me first show you how the experience works today. So to do this, if I go to the store right now, I'm currently not signed in with my MSA. So I'm going to launch one of the test apps that I have configured with Private Audience, and I use the store protocol to invoke the app in the store. What you're seeing here is, because I'm not signed in with my identity, the store looks for the application. The application exists in the catalog, but it's not able to authenticate whether I have access to it or not because I'm not signed in. So what it does, it simply says the app does not exist and returns an error to the users. Now let's see what happens when I sign in with my MSA in store. So to do that, I'm going to add my account, authenticate it, and now I'm going to run the same protocol again. And now what you're seeing is the app is visible to me because Store is able to authenticate my application and say, yes, this MSA is registered as a valid member for this app. And then it shows me, and I can go and install this application. How to do that in Dev Center is, if you go to the Dev Center and go to the pricing section for your application, if you click on visibility, you will see 2 options: Private Audience and Public Audience and Private Audience. By default, all the apps and games being shipped today have Public Audience selected for their applications for visibility. With Private Audience, you can select that in the visibility options and then configure the flight group. The flight group just contains a list of MSAs. So you can say, this is the flight group which is authorized to go and access this application in store. Once you have validated your application and you're ready to release it broadly, you can go and select this checkbox and specify a date and time for the go live of your application again. Once the submission is published, at that particular date and time, your app and game will automatically light up in all the markets supported by your app. It's that simple to use private audience today in Dev Center. We also support video trailers. Let's keep all the questions towards the end. Thank you. We also support hero trailers and video trailers for your app listings in store. With the hero trailers, you as a developer have ability to show the users different experiences that are supported by your application to help them be more engaged on your app and drive the acquisition for more users for your applications. Again, some of our partners like Netflix, Fitbit, Forza, Sea of Thieves, all of these are using hero trailers today in store. We have data that shows that just by using hero trailers, apps and games are able to increase their customer acquisition by 11%. So let me now show you how the experience works today in store. So if I go to the store and search for one of my favorite apps, let's say AutoCAD, and I go to the app listing, you will notice that as soon as the user goes to the app listing, store starts playing the hero trailer for the users. Now AutoCAD shows all the experiences they support, and the user is more engaged on your app listing. The more engaged the user is, more likely he's going to go and buy your application. So if you have an existing app and game, you can leverage hero trailers today via Dev Center and increase the number of users who are acquiring your apps. We'll listen to your feedback. As we talk to more and more developers, one of the top feedback we got was to improve and make it faster for developers to publish updates to your application. And I can see a lot of heads nodding yes. I'm happy to announce that with all the store investments we have made in the last few months, if you are publishing an update to your app, a listing update to your application, that means if you're changing the price, you're adding a new market, you're changing the description or adding new screenshot. All of this will now be published in under 30 minutes. Thank you. We are validating this with our top partners, and we are in process to roll it out to all the Bread developers by end of this month. We are super excited about this. We have been working hard on this one. In addition to that, we are also working to optimize our certification flows. We are using more and more automated techniques like machine learning to let the app submissions go through the automated and optimized certification process without requiring additional scrutiny. More than 70% of app submissions today are using optimized certification. And finally, we are also rethinking of how the submission process works today in Dev Center. And we are working on a project called Modular Submission, which will help you as a developer to publish simple and incremental updates to your apps. Let me show a video of how the experience would look like. Cool. So what we have in Dev Center today is what we call as a monolithic submission. For publishing any updates, pricing changes, addition of markets, updating of new packages, we require all of them to be combined into a single submission. And you can only have one in-progress submission at one time in Dev Center. With modular submission, we are breaking that. We will allow you to have parallel submissions, and we will allow you to do targeted updates. So if you want to go and change the price, you can go to the pricing module, change the price, and submit it, while have a different submission where you can continue to work on updating the packages and providing all the listing updates, new screenshots. And we will allow you to have these parallelly published via Dev Center. In addition to that, if you have multiple developers working on your application or multiple release managers maintaining your application, you can now be able to see the version history, the audit log, to see when was the last time the pricing was updated for my application and who updated it, or when was the last time a new package was submitted for my application. All of the audit log, the version history, will be visible in Dev Center with modular submissions. We are actively working on this today, and we expect it to start rolling it out to all the broader developers later this year. So far, we have talked about some of the capabilities we are building, like buying directly from the web and using push to install to help you reach new customers. We also talked about some of the actions you as a developer can take to target new users using MSIX to target enterprise, and by recompiling your apps to ARM64 for targeting ARM64 devices. We briefly discussed about all the new capabilities we are adding to help you be more productive for using private audience for pre-release testing of your applications, as well as all the efforts we are doing to update and publish your updates to your applications faster through the Dev Center. Now I'm going to invite Hannah to come onto the stage and talk about some of the improvements we are doing in the analytics space.
Thank you, Navit. Good morning. My name is Hannah Jimma from the Dev Center Analytics team, and Navit just gave you a great overview on how you can reach more customers through the store. And I'm excited to be here today to talk to you about actionable analytics for your apps. If you have an app that's submitted through Dev Center today, Dev Center supports you as app developers by reasoning over significant amounts of data on your behalf, and then we process that data to provide you with analytics that are actionable. We provide you with this information via UI experience, TSV download, as well as public APIs. The breadth of reporting available includes acquisitions, so you can see how many customers are acquiring and installing your app. We also measure customer engagement, so you can see how your customers are using your application. Failure information is key to reducing customer dissat and number of bugs that are occurring while customers are using your app. We've also enhanced our reporting capabilities with anomaly detection, which is available across our acquisitions, usage, and health reports, where we're now able to identify changes in trends in your data and then expose that via markers on the UI. In the past, we've presented our end-to-end analytics within Dev Center. So today, I'm going to focus on new features that are available. Our Dev Center Health Report provides you analytics failure hit information in near real time. So within 5 to 15 minutes of a crash occurring, you're able to see that information within the Dev Center portal. We've also increased the filtering capabilities available on the report. So in addition to being able to filter your information by market, package version, and device type, you can also filter by a specific architecture or OS release version or sandbox, if that's applicable to you. The Dev Center Health Report also has a brand new feature which exposes crash-free devices and crash-free sessions. So if you have 150,000 crashes on your app, the question was always, well, what does this mean? How is this impacting my users? Through the new crash-free devices and crash-free sessions report within Dev Center, you can now see the percent impact across both of those dimensions. This takes the guesswork out of the process for you. So if your 150,000 crashes only affected 1% of the total number of user sessions, you may prioritize your time elsewhere. However, if it impacted 30% of your users, you may prioritize that work and try to resolve that in near term. In addition to the new crash-free devices and crash-free sessions chart on our health report, we also have exposed anomaly detection, which is now available to insiders. So if you're a part of the Developer Insider program, the Windows Insider program, you can now see markers on your health report, acquisitions report, and usage report if we detect large trend changes in your data. You can then select anomalies, which will drive you to a brand new Insights report, where we not only expose the percent impact of an anomaly, but we're also able to identify what the top contributors were. For example, we can call out a particular market, a device type, or in the context of the failure report, if we can attribute an anomaly to a specific failure detail, we will expose that and link it directly to your failure details chart. Within the context of the failure details report, you can see all the instances which contribute to this particular failure. In addition, we have cabs available, also in near real time, which we've made more discoverable through exposure of a filter. Cabs are available if the crash came from a customer who's part of the Windows Insider program, so we have their explicit consent. It's also important to submit symbol files with your package so you can get rich stack traces. Rich stack traces not just allow you to further debug your application, but also we have a brand new chart within Dev Center called Stack Prevalence. Our Stack Prevalence chart orders the most common call stacks that led to a specific point of failure and orders them by percentage. This helps you by taking the guesswork out of the process so you can prioritize your time in fixing the particular call stacks that most commonly led to that point of failure. We've also bolded the specific frame that failed by bolding it within the health report on that stack trace. We've had significant partner success by leveraging the health information we have within Dev Center. We had a single partner have a 50% decrease in the number of crashes by leveraging the information available within the Dev Center health report. So the stack prevalence chart is also available today to all developers who have a Dev Center account and are leveraging our analytics. In addition to targeting common failures to reduce the impact to your customers, we also have augmented a feature on our reviews report. So within Dev Center, you can leverage review insight categories, where we've run natural language processing on top of customer reviews, and then we've bucketed those reviews into a set of predetermined categories. By selecting one of these boxes, for example, usability, performance, cost, or stability of your app, it automatically filters those reviews, and then you can leverage the response to reviews feature within Dev Center to engage with your customers. So if you've deployed a bug fix and you had a lot of customer dissat and responses saying, hey, your app crashes all the time, I'm having trouble using it, you can proactively go in and respond to those customer reviews, let them know that a fix has been deployed so they can go back and use your app and hopefully update their review. We found from store-wide data that 20% of the time when a developer responds to a customer review, the customer then goes in and makes an update to the review that they've left you. So fantastic opportunity within Dev Center to engage with your customers. You can also respond to customer reviews via our public APIs. So if you'd like to do it if you have a large number of reviews and you want to efficiently go through, filter down those reviews and respond to, say, all the 1-star or 2-star reviews, you can do that in a programmatic way. Responding to reviews is a great way to re-engage with your customers. And we've also exposed some new charts on our usage report. So you can show so we're able to show you customer engagement. So the cohort active usage chart, which is available to insiders, measures fan engagement over a 12-week period. So a cohort is a group of users who started using your app in the same week, and then we track those users' engagements week over week. You can leverage this information by electing to send a targeted notification to your customers if you're noticing after, say, week 2, you have a significant drop-off in the number of users who are using your application. We also have a new chart called churn prediction. So churn are the number of customers who we think will stop using your app. We built a churn prediction model where we look at the individual users of your application and compare them to users over the entire Microsoft Store ecosystem. There are particular attributes that we know lead to a customer churning or stop using your app. We then run our prediction model, and we're able to group those users and expose the total number of customers we think will churn over a 15-day period. You can directly leverage this information within Dev Center to create a specific segment of those customers and then send them a targeted notification to re-engage them with your application. And I'll go ahead and show you how you can create a segment of your customers. So we'll get logged in here real quick. And within Dev Center, you can send targeted notifications not just for customers who may churn, but also for customers who we think will have very low usage. So as you can see here, I'm logged in to Windows Dev Center. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to my dashboard. We'll just walk through the actual process. And then I'll search for my app, which is called the Contoso demo. So once I'm within the context of my app, I can go down to the specific analytics section and then go into my usage report where these brand new charts are available. And here on the usage report, you can see our brand new churn prediction chart, which is available to all of you who are part of the Insiders program. And hovering over this chart, you can see the number of predicted and the actuals, actually, we show you after the fact, how many customers actually churned from those specific individuals we have part of your segment. Clicking on Create New Segment will allow you to create a specific customer group. So I'm going to call this one Contoso Churn. And as you can see here, it says Include customers from this app. And you can select the specific app that you want. So you can create a customer segment also for the customers who we think are going to churn. But you can also do that across different applications. So you have churn prediction is likely to stop using is true. So if you went ahead and saved this information, it would create a segment of customers called Contoso Churn, which you can then leverage in the notification section of Dev Center. What you can also do is maybe you don't just want to send a targeted notification to those customers who we think will churn. So you can also add an or statement and add perhaps customers who we think will have incredibly low usage. So you can go ahead and select usage and look at the total number of user sessions they've had within the last 30 days. If that is less than 10, you can also save this, create this customer segment, and then your target notification will go out to not only the users who we predict will churn, but also to those users who have had less than 10 user sessions over the last 30 days. So engaging with your customers through targeted notifications is a fantastic way to not just reduce churn, but also to send out notifications so those customers who may have had low usage over multiple weeks could become re-engaged. if you are leveraging our notification features within Dev Center, we're excited to announce that previously the analytics that we had were related to just app opens. Now we've augmented this feature. So you can see if you've sent out a toast notification, you can see how many individuals may have engaged with that on weekdays versus weekends, and then go ahead and make adjustments to when you're engaging with your customers through our notifications feature. Additionally, if you notice that you have a specific notification that is about to expire, you can elect to extend that period of time so you have the best opportunity to reach the greatest amount of users. So we have a wide variety of analytics that are actionable, that are available within the Windows Dev Center. But we also have analytics available for you if you have not submitted an app through the Microsoft Store. So for you Office add-in developers, if you have developed an Office add-in, we have analytics available for you through the Microsoft Store Dev Center, specifically under a new program that was released earlier, actually late in 2017, called Office Store. So the analytics we have available to you include acquisition information. So you can see the total number of new and active users through our usage report, and through our acquisitions you can see daily aggregated information as well as tenant deployment information. So fantastic analytics available for you if you're an Office add-in developer across both the acquisitions and usage reports. Some of you may be Win32 developers, desktop applications. We also have analytics available for you for free within Windows Dev Center. The analytics available for you span failure information, so you can see the impact of failures on your total customer population, as well as install information, so you can see your customer reach. Kunal gave a fantastic theater session on Monday, which I've referenced on this slide, so you can go back and review that for additional information. Within Dev Center, we are driving towards reduced latency and also releasing new features to bring you even more actionable analytics for your apps. Across acquisition information, we are driving towards near real time. So by the end of this week, we will have acquisition information available to you in near real time for those of you who are part of the Insider program. And we anticipate rolling that out to the general audience very shortly after. Also across our advanced analytics, anomaly prediction, also our churn information, we are driving towards having that available in near real time as well. Also enhancing our notifications for when anomalies occur. Reviews report enhancements are coming, so search functionality. That's been a top ask, and we'll be excited to bring that to you shortly, as well as breaking out ratings per time period and market. So I've had the opportunity to talk to you about additional ways you can increase your developer productivity by leveraging our advanced analytics such as anomaly detection, churn prediction, and cohort active usage within Dev Center. In addition to new ways that you can engage with your customers through leveraging our analytics, we also have worked on ways to improve your monetization opportunities, which I will welcome Vikram up to talk about.
Thank you, Hannah, for providing some great insights into how developers can use our Dev Center analytics to make data-driven decisions. Good morning, everyone. I am Vikram. I'm going to talk about how you can monetize your applications and games on the Windows Dev Center. Today, you already have a wide range of options available on the Dev Center for you to monetize your applications and games. Paid apps, where you can sell your applications for a price in 242 plus markets. Add-ons, where you can sell consumables and durables. Subscriptions, where you can sell digital products at recurring intervals to your customers. Xbox Game Pass program, where you can put your game in that program. Affiliate ads, where if you're driving conversions to the Microsoft Store, you will be able to get commissions for the referrals that you give. And finally, advertising, where you put ad slots in your applications to make money. I'm going to talk about some of the features that we are launching today and some features which our partners have been using and growing their business. Specifically, paid apps, where I'm going to talk about pricing, subscriptions, and finally, more details about advertising. Now let me talk about free-form pricing. This is coming from you. We heard your feedback. Earlier, we used to have a price tier model where you will be able to select only specific set of prices. Now with free-form pricing, you will be able to select the price that you want. You're targeting a special event in a specific market because of an event, or you're a Windows 32 developer modernizing your app and bringing it to the store, and you want the same web price that you had, like 179.32, you have it. With free-form pricing, you will be able to choose any pricing between 99 cents and $2,000. Moving on from pricing to subscriptions, subscriptions is a great way for building relationship with customers. If you're selling an add-on in your product, it's a transaction that you're making. But if you're selling a subscription, or if your users are subscribing to digital goods inside your product, it's a relationship that you're establishing with your customers, and the lifetime value that you derive of your customers is going to be much higher in case of subscriptions. Naveed has already talked about the growth in the commercial users that we have on the Windows Store. Also, the store does everything for you, including billing. All you have to do is create a digital subscription, and even the consumption part of it is calculated by the store. So take advantage of this feature and grow your business by building relationships with your customers. Moving on to advertising, there are two different sides of the coin related to advertising. We released Microsoft Ad Monetization Platform at last build, where we introduced a concept called server-side mediation. Before this, if you had to get ad creatives served in your application from multiple other networks, ad networks, you would have to go to their portals, create ad controls over there, bring in that into your application, and go to their portals to get all the reporting as well as money for your ads. But what we did is a server-side mediation platform where there is only one single relationship with Microsoft, and we manage everything in the backend. You just install our SDK, put that ad control inside your application, and boom, you have 13 different ad networks fighting to place their ad inside your ad control. And from last build, when we announced this new platform, we had 5 networks, and today I'm happy to inform you that we have 13 networks and more coming in the upcoming months. The other side of advertising is you as an app developer advertising your application to acquire or re-engage with your existing users. Even there, we have best-in-class return on investments for the ad campaigns that you create. Let me talk about the numbers. Since we released this almost a year back, how are we doing? In the first half of the last fiscal, the overall ad revenue in the ecosystem grew by 35%. The best part, the UWP app revenue grew by more than 100%. And today, I'm happy to announce that we are launching a new ad network called MSN Content Recommendation Service, using which the fill rates are going to touch near 100% for all your applications that are using Microsoft Advertising SDK. Not just these, we have 2 new programs that we launched last year. The first one, Microsoft Premium Publisher Program, where we, Microsoft, will evangelize your ad inventory so that advertisers who are bidding will discover you as a special inventory and increase prices. This will help you get better yield. The second program, Microsoft Ads in Apps Customer Advisory Program. This is a program for high-value publishers where the Microsoft Ad Monetization Product Management team is going to work one-on-one with you, the developers, to make sure that you reach your true monetization potential. If you want to be a part of this program, just send an email to aiacare@microsoft.com. And I'm happy to inform you that one of the developers, Soft, they saw their revenues grew by more than 200% after joining this program. They took all the tips that we gave them related to monetization and chose the right settings so that they got these improvements. Now, let me talk about some of the new improvements or capabilities that we are adding in the ad monetization world. The first one is native ads. What exactly is native ads before even going into the details of native ads? The regular banner advertisements that you see inside the applications, they are packaged products. Advertisers stitch everything and send you an image which you display inside your applications. Whereas native ads are a set of elements inside the application, like the icon, image, title, the description of the ad, the call to action button, and all these different elements, so that you, as a developer, can stitch all these on the fly, which are looking native to your application. And I'm happy to inform you that this feature, which was in preview mode till today, is going to be available for everyone starting today. Let me show you a demo of one of the partners who already integrated native ads in their application. Can you figure out the number of ads in this page today? Anyone? 4? 7? So these two are banners. The left one and the right one are banners. They just are single ads. So those two, and what else? No, there are exactly 3 ads here. One on the left, which is a ad stitched with 3 different articles, one on the right. And there is one in the center, which is from Hilton. So if you see this particular ad, this looks almost similar to the entire feed. So these 2 ads are getting refreshed. These 2 are regular banners, which you see. But this one is a native ad. If you see the look and feel of this one, the button color is the same. The text styling on the top is the same. The image is also placed in the same way. So native ads can be stitched by the developer exactly with the same theme as that you have for other elements inside your application. And why are these native ads important for you guys? Because since they are native to the application, the click-throughs are extremely high. During the preview phase, we have seen 5x click-throughs compared to the regular banners. Since these are like appearing in the same feed and looking exactly similar to the other elements, they don't look like sponsored content. So the click-throughs are extremely high, which is indirectly driving the eCPMs, the money that you make for every 1,000 impressions, that we have seen 2x compared to the regular banner ads. So take advantage of these native ads and make sure that you are adding these to your applications to get better yields for your applications. Moving on, I'm going to talk about the new buzz term in the advertising industry, viewability. First, what is viewability and why is it important to you, and what should you do to make sure that you are not impacted because of this? Viewability is an advertising standard where, at least for the banner ads, it says if 50% of the ad pixels are seen by the end users, and at least for 1 second, only then the ad is considered viewable. Why will it impact you? It can impact you because the advertisers are not willing to pay any money unless the ads are viewable by your end customers. This should not be an afterthought of after developing the application. Ad placement should be a design choice. You should make sure that the ads are placed so that they are always visible to the end users, also placed in such a way that viewability metrics are properly coming for your application. There should not be any overlapping of ads or ads being hidden by other content in your application. You may think that when I tested my application, I was able to clearly see my ad. but did you test while resizing your application? Did the ad shrink, or did the ad get stretched, or did the content overlap on your ad? All these are considerations which you should be doing, and all these are test cases which you should be doing during the design phase so that your ad viewability is not impacted. Starting today, you will be able to get viewability reports in the Dev Center. I'm going to show you where. If you go to the Dev Center, in the analysis section, go to your ad performance reports, and the last metric that we have is viewability. So we have gone live with this feature 2 days back, so the data will be available for your all banner ad controls from 6th of May. We are also adding the capability for viewability reports for video ad units as well as native ad units in the coming months. But starting today, from 6th of May, you will have data related to all your banner ad units. Go check out your banner ad unit viewability rate and take corrective actions if the viewability rate is low, because this can impact your ad earnings. So now that I have talked about 2 new features in the ad publishing world, let me go to the other side of the coin, where you as an app developer is advertising or creating ad campaigns to acquire or re-engage with existing users. The first one is about the feedback that we received from you, the developers. There are developers who have been coming to us and asking for niche audience in specific markets, that too at very high volume goals, like 100,000 installs in a span of 1 week in one market, that too with a niche audience goal. These are the kind of requests which we are getting from developer community. Till today, whenever you create an ad campaign in the Windows Dev Center, we used to serve it within Microsoft first and third-party surfaces. By that, I mean MSN.com, Outlook.com, Skype, Microsoft Casual Games, and all the ad monetized applications in the Microsoft Store. Starting today, I'm happy to inform you that we'll be going outside the Microsoft boundary to all the ad networks to find the audience that you require. The special niche audience requirements that you have and the high volume goals that you have will be met with this new feature. All you have to do is create a universal ad campaign, and we will take care of everything in the background. There are ML algos which are running on a daily basis to retune the campaigns, to readjust the budgets between Microsoft and non-Microsoft inventory, and also bid appropriately to get the highest ROI for your ad campaigns. The next big feature that I'm going to talk about in the ad campaigns world is video app install ads. So this is an example of a video app install ad created by one of our partners, Spiral Interactive, in the preview phase. Video is a very engaging format compared to banner and native ads in the ads world. That too, for app install ads, it is even more engaging, is what we learned in the preview phase. With video, we have seen 20x click-throughs compared to the regular banner ads, which means the chance of people installing your app are exponentially higher compared to the regular banners. Not just installations, people opening the apps after installations are also very high. The open rates are very high with video app install ads. Today, this feature is in preview with several top publishers already participating in the preview. If you want to be a part of this preview program, creating video app install ads to acquire users or re-engage with existing users, please send an email to aiacare@microsoft.com. And the best part of the deal, for the next 3 months, we have promotional pricing of 40 cents. You just pay 40 cents for 1,000 impressions, 1,000 video ads that you deliver on the Microsoft network. This is available for the next 3 months. So to summarize, we have talked about a lot of new capabilities that we are adding in the Windows Dev Center to make sure that the developers can reach new customers, be more productive, get awesome analytics to take data-driven decisions, and finally, monetize with a lot of new capabilities that we are adding in the store. Microsoft Dev Center is building all the great infrastructure that you need so that you concentrate only on what you do the best, which is building awesome apps and games for your end customers. With close to 700 million devices running Windows 10, an increasing number of commercial users, it has never been a great time to be on the Windows Store. Thanks to every one of you for developing apps and games for the Microsoft Store. Oh, and make sure that you join our Windows Insider program, Dev Center Insider program, because you get the latest and greatest of all the tools and features that we develop, even before it goes to the entire developer community. Also, please give your feedback related to the features or any new requests, because your feedback can impact our product backlogs. We want to develop only those features which will help you be successful on the Microsoft Store. Thank you, everyone, for joining this session, and hope you are all having a great time at the Build this year. Thank you. We're now open for questions.
We have an application that we would like to distribute to a controlled set of our customers. And would using the public store but leaving it permanently on kind of that you just write be a viable option, or is that not what we will design for?
So the question is, you want to distribute your application to a specific set of customers, but you don't want it to be visible to anyone outside your customer set for the lifetime of the application. Would you help me understand what your target customer is? Is it an enterprise, or it's a set of consumers?
So in our case, it's one or more research individuals in hospitals that are our customers.
OK, that's interesting. So absolutely, the private audience feature, which I think that you're referring to, is essentially to allow the pre-release testing of your application. Yes, it is possible. Like it will technically work, but in general, our recommendation is not to ship, in the case of consumer store, not to ship applications which are never going to be visible to the broader audience. How about this? Like, why don't you come to our booth and we can directly engage with us to understand what the requirement is and if there's an existing way where we can help you support that. So me, Hannah, and Vikram, we will be at the Dev Center booth, and I'm happy to talk to you more about it. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Maybe I missed it, but could you talk a little bit more about what you mean by anomalies? Like, are the anomalies only things that the OS detects, or if an application detects some anomalous state, is there some method of instrumentation or something that could be used to report that and collect that telemetry?
Our measurement for anomalies is based off the data that we collect for your apps. If there's more than a 3% change, either increasing or decreasing across the acquisitions, health, and usage reports, then we expose that via the markers in the UI at the end of each week, and then populate that insights dashboard with the top contributors. So it's based off the data we collect for your app across those 3 reports. And we're also able to send you, we do send, emails when there is an anomaly detected, so you can come back into Dev Center and see exactly what we identified. So it's a 3% trend change in your data.
Okay, so it's not like it's where you could detect a non-crash failure of some kind.
That's not how we're using anomaly detection defined in this context.
Okay, and there is no facility for that today. Is that correct? You collect crashes, but if the application detects that something went wrong but it didn't crash.
So log files specifically are not included in your crash dumps, those cab files right now, because we're unable to scrub those for personally identifiable information.
Okay. Thanks.
If that answers your question. And if that does not answer your question, please come by our booth and we can talk in more detail.
Thanks.
So 2 questions. The first one, in the Dev Center, you have under acquisition. You allow us to see like where our users, like where we're getting them from. So internally, because I know during submissions we do have to submit keywords. Is there a way to surface like which keywords are directly attributed to people coming to our store? I mean, coming to our landing page from the store.
So there is something called as a campaign tracking ID. When you are sending customers to the store, just add this field called CID, SID, in the URL. All those values will show up automatically in the acquisition reports.
Okay.
Yeah, so at the bottom of the acquisitions report, we have charts they're labeled as channels and conversions, where we expose the specific campaign that led a customer to not just view your page, but then also take the next step to acquire and install your application.
Okay, so if they were like perusing the store through like organic search and not specifically through a campaign, is there a way to see which keyword kind of led them through that funnel?
We do not have that exposed within Dev Center if it's not specifically called out within your campaign.
Gotcha. Okay. And the second question, I know we transitioned from this like monolithic submission framework. Now, how are we handling if you have, say I have a large app overhaul and I want to have like change my description, my images, as well as the package. If all of these have been parallelized, how do we, like what lands first in that case?
So typically we are not changing from that. So what the facility we are providing you is that you will be able to do the parallel one. So if you're going to change the descriptions and you can change it and submit it with our SLA, with our commitment of publishing latency, we expect that to be reflected in 30 minutes. So I would say it's like first in, first out. Like if you go and update the description, that will get updated first. And if you're working on the packages and the second side, it is going to be in parallel submission. And the packages updates are typically get published under 45 minutes in most cases. So that is going to be first in, first out. If you change the description, then the pricing, and then the screenshots, they will be reflected in that way as well.
Okay, so do I technically have to hit submit or publish for each different like section? Or
So-
if I change multiple and then just hit publish, will all three go in as one submission?
So the question you have is, do you have to go and change each module every time? Or like, do you have to click submit on each one of them for individually?
Essentially.
We have provided you the leverage. You have the option to go and do them independently. If you want to bundle them up like today into one, you can still continue to do
Okay.
that. That should be good.
All right, thank you.
I have a couple questions for you guys. You described at the beginning how we have the option of popping up a store rating dialogue. And I wanted to know if you have some statistics that you could share with us in terms of how frequently people actually rate the app when that dialogue is presented to them.
So the question your specific question is that with in-app review, if you integrate the in-app review in your application, how frequent a user is expected to go and rate your application and provide the feedback?
Not how frequent they expect, but when it's presented to them,
Yep.
how frequently they actually rate versus the percentages of rating versus ignoring the dialogue.
So I don't have precise data about that right now. I can do a follow-up for you. But what I can what I can talk about is some of the partners that we worked with to actually validate this hypothesis to say how much conversion it will draw. For example, Forza Motors. They were one of the early adopters of in-app reviews, and they have been in store for a few months using this capability. We saw an increase up to 10x times, like 10 times the number of ratings they were getting per day.
Yeah, I understand that if you present a dialogue, some people will actually use the dialogue, and that will increase the number of ratings because you have one more avenue of getting
Sure.
the rating. But I wanted to know, at the end of the day, I want to know how people perceive this as spam versus, so I want to understand the benefit versus the cost. How much are we hurting the experience by presenting the dialogue when the user is not expecting it? And how much are we really taking out of that experience?
So that's a fair point. And as like a platform, we are giving you the capabilities. What is the right place to pop up that in-app review? For example, I'm just making a hypothetical case. If I'm watching a movie and you prompt me in between watching a movie and in-app review, likely going to be a detract for the users. But if the movie is completed and I pop up saying, how was the streaming experience? Did you enjoy a movie? And ask them to rate it, they are more likely to go and give you a rating and share their feedback. So the lever of where to prompt the users for in-app reviews is up for the developers. You can decide and probably do like a A/B testing using some of the capabilities to see which one or which avenue is helping you get more feedback, right? And like if you want to have some discussions about specific use cases and everything, we can happy to talk about you in the
No,
booth.
I wasn't expecting you to help us decide when to pop up the dialogue. So we'll discuss that maybe afterwards. The second question I had was regarding the target notifications. I wanted to know if those are normal toast notifications and if there is any translation of the message to the specific language that we know the user understands.
Yes, when you are creating a notification, DevCenter already provides you translation services. These are translated using Bing Translate. You can check the messages even before sending it. If you're not comfortable with the Bing Translate, you can override it and put your own translation for the users.
And the right language will be presented to each one of the users.
Yes. It's based on the user machine. That language is used for the notification.
Okay, thank you.
Hey guys, hey, nice job. I actually haven't looked at the store for maybe a year, and I was looking at it now as you're going through your presentation. There's a lot of good new stuff there. A couple questions. ARM64, is that just going to happen when because we've got 3 targets right now. We've got x86, x64, and ARM on a UWP app. Will ARM64 just automatically happen, or I have to do something when we upgrade to 15.8?
So with the 15.8 preview 1, you will now see an ARM64 architecture for your UWP application. So what you have to do is just go and recompile your application again. Make sure you have selected ARM64 as an architecture for your app, which will automatically generate the right set of packages, and then you can come to the Dev Center and submit it.
Okay, so we just check it, and then the next time, I feel like I've got a whole, it's all automated, so I'm not going to go, I'll just check it in the solution, and then it'll commit, and when the build server has the right version, as long as the build server and my client have the same version, it'll work, right? So it's not, it'll just automatically happen.
It will not automatically. You have to opt into ARM64.
Once I've checked the checkbox, everything will just flow through. I don't have to do anything on the store. Okay.
Absolutely.
Two other suggestions, really. The one is, can you guys change the graph? The last, today is always 0. So every time I look at all of my Windows graphs, adoption, anything, it always tanks at the end. So when I show it to management, it looks like Windows is on a downward trend. Every graph ends with the 0.
Yeah,
Could you just end yesterday or something?
We've received consistent feedback about that and are working on making an update so it doesn't look like you all of a sudden have 0 acquisitions in a day.
That shouldn't be that hard. It's just been like that from day one. So
Yes. No, thank you for your feedback on that. No,
and the second thing is, in the store itself, can you give us the total number of installs of the app? So like when you go to Google Play, it tells you, Facebook's been installed 1 billion times, and this other little app has been installed by 100 people. So now immediately I know, oh, this isn't really a mainstream app. And I can also see how many people have reviewed it. This has got 10,000 reviews, it's got 100 reviews, or 5 reviews. So it gives me an idea of what kind of app I'm dealing with. I think it was maybe related to the gentleman's here question. He was interested in like a percentage. If I've got say 1,000 reviewers, that probably means I've got about 10,000 installs or something like that. So just to help me when I look at an app, to know how popular this app is, and how many people are using it. So, I mean, when I go and download an open source component off of NuGet, I look how many people have installed it. It's got 300, it's got 35 installs, downloads. Well, maybe but if it's got a few thousand, I've got a much higher degree of confidence that the component's going to be useful to me.
No, appreciate that feedback. We'll definitely take that back and review it.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We had a question over here as well.
First one, how many devices out of the 7 you
So the question you have is, how many of the 700 million devices are currently running on ARM? I don't have those stats at that level of details. I will have to follow up on that question. So if you mind sending an email, we can go and follow up on that.
The second one, is there any way like I can pass this CID, campaign ID, to the app? Like for example, if my user is installing the app from this campaign, so I can, for example, give him like voucher discount that he's installing the app from this campaign.
There is no facility available right now to track a specific user based on the campaign ID. But from the campaign source itself, if the user is coming from a specific source, assuming you create a Facebook campaign, you can give discounts over there, but not after landing onto the dev center where the SID is being tracked and given in the individual reports. You'll not be able to track individual users after getting into the dev center.
I mean, after installing the app, after opening the app.
So after opening the app, there is a feature called token service, using which you can generate tokens and give discounts for your add-ons, or since you're in an e-commerce company, so you can give discounts based on you will have user logged in activity, and you will be able to give tokens based on that.
Any other questions?
Maybe I can just show you some guys offline, maybe now or down in the...
Sure, we will be at the booth and right here as well. Happy to engage on that. Thanks again for all your time. Thanks for coming over.
Thank you.